Welcome back to the start of the 2026-27 campaign. We are officially underway, and honestly, what a way to kick things off. Today, in this explainer, we're diving straight into the explosive season opener as Championship heavyweights Middlesbrough host Wrexham in the Carabao Cup first round. Both of these squads have massive ambitions this year, and tonight is their very first chance to lay down a marker under the floodlights. So we're going to break down the storylines, the tactical chess match, and the crucial stats that will absolutely define this clash. All right, let's get right into it.
Just 2. That is the exact number of fiercely contested draws these two clubs played out in the Championship last season. They proved to be incredibly evenly matched, which really just sets the stage perfectly for tonight's absolute grudge match at the Riverside Stadium. They know each other inside and out, and honestly, neither team could manage to get the upper hand last year. So, let's take a quick look at the stories so far, because there is some serious unfinished business here.
To really grasp why this specific matchup carries so much heavy psychological baggage before a single ball is even kicked, we have to look back at those two clashes. Back in October 2025, it was a tense 1-1 deadlock. But it was last May, literally on the final day of a grueling season, where the real damage was done. A bitter 2-2 draw absolutely crushed Wrexham's playoff dreams in one fell swoop. And ironically, that very same result sent Boro stumbling into a playoff run that ultimately ended in total heartbreak, missing out on the Premier League. Both squads walked off that pitch in May with a terribly bitter taste in their mouths. Tonight, they get an immediate chance to settle that score.
Let's move on to the new faces, the missing stars, and their contrasting summer fortunes. Fast forward to right now, and both clubs have experienced wildly different transfer windows as they scramble to find those final missing pieces for promotion. £20 million. That's a staggering number. That is the sheer scale of the financial backing Middlesbrough's manager Kim Hellberg has received from the board this summer. It's a massive investment designed to absolutely guarantee Boro has the firepower for the Premier League. They are messing around. They are going all in. So where exactly did all that cash go? Well, leading the charge is the £10 million man Will Lankshear, who's making his competitive debut after signing from Spurs. But Boro also did some serious shopping across the Atlantic. They scooped up MLS talents Max Arfston from the Columbus Crew for $5.6 million and Sebastian Berhalter from the Vancouver Whitecaps for just over $1.6 million. And here's the kicker. All three of these exciting new arrivals are starting tonight. That being said, Boro isn't completely at full strength. Hellberg is taking absolutely zero risks tonight with Aidan Morris, who picked up a minor training knock this week. Plus, striker Tommy Conway is still sidelined with an ankle issue, and Miles Part-Harris is unavailable too. Look, when you have a squad this deep, you could afford to rest players with minor knocks, especially with the grind of the championship opener looming just around the corner. Now, looking at the other side of the pitch, Wrexham's boss Phil Parkinson is dealing with some major headaches of his own. He recently admitted that Josh Windass is still not where he needs to be yet. That's a brutal blow for them. Windass bagged 17 goals across all competitions last season. Losing that kind of guaranteed offensive production right at the starting line puts immense immediate pressure on the rest of the squad to step up. And the Wrexham squad updates don't get much better defensively. With Ben Sheaf also ruled out, a lot of heavy defensive responsibility is going to fall on some new shoulders. Daniel Imre, who just arrived from West Brom, is being thrown right into the fire for his full debut at right wingback. Danny Ward gets the start in goal, and Ben Whiteman is in contention to feature. Parkinson's reshaped, slightly battered side is going to be severely tested right out of the gate.
Okay, time to look at the tactical battle. A 3-4-1-2 setup going head-to-head with a 3-4-2-1.
So how do all these changing rosters, massive signings, and lingering injuries actually translate to the pitch tonight? We're looking at a genuinely fascinating tactical mirror match. Middlesbrough is rolling out a 3-4-1-2. You've got Jeremy Sarmiento slotting in as the number 10, hovering right behind a very dangerous strike duo of Morgan Whittaker and that £10 million debutant, Will Lankshear. They'll be up against Wrexham's 3-4-2-1 shape, where Oliver Rathbone and Nathan Broadhead are tasked with supporting their lone striker, Sam Smith. Since both teams are utilizing three at the back and relying heavily on their wingbacks for width, expect a highly congested midfield. This is going to be a total chess match on the flanks.
Because of those formations, the game is really going to be decided by execution in a few key areas. First, Boro absolutely has to get early service into Lankshear. He needs to make an immediate impact to start justifying that massive price tag. For Wrexham, the burning question is, can Sam Smith effectively lead the line all by himself and somehow replace Windass's missing firepower? And defensively, you've got to keep your eyes on Wrexham's Daniel Imre. Can he lock down that right flank on his full debut against Boro's highly aggressive wingbacks?
Next up, let's check out the Summer Form Guide and Preseason Preparations.
Tactical plans are fantastic, sure, but physical readiness and summer momentum are going to be massive separators tonight. Middlesbrough actually had a somewhat mixed preseason on paper. They battled to a 3-3 draw against Espanyol, drew 1-1 with Celtic, and took a 1-0 loss to Hull City. But despite those up-and-down results, manager Kim Hellberg is riding high on optimism. He firmly believes that with the sheer potential and quality of the squad they've assembled, they are going to hit a much, much higher gear once the competitive whistle actually blows.
Now contrast Boro's fairly standard localized prep with Wrexham's exhausting, absolute whirlwind of a global tour. It started with a training camp in Poland. From there, they flew to Helsinki, Finland, where, by the way, they pulled off a really impressive 1-0 win against Manchester United. Then they immediately jetted off for a US tour, playing Liverpool at Yankee Stadium and then taking on Sunderland. They played hard, they traveled incredibly hard, and get this, they only arrived back in the UK this past Monday.
Naturally, a travel schedule like that has serious consequences. Parkinson was totally open about it, admitting that heavy training was completely sacrificed this week in favor of much-needed recovery. He knew it was absolutely vital the lads got some rest, so fatigue is a genuine pressing concern for Wrexham tonight as they go up against a hungry, heavily invested Boro side that's enjoyed a far more settled week at home.
All right, it is time for the predictions and broadcast info. Let's call the match.
With the tactics analyzed, those bitter grudges remembered, and the contrasting summer forms laid out on the table, what's the call? Both of these teams know each other intimately from those draws last season, and they clearly both have a massive point to prove today. But when you factor in the roaring Riverside crowd backing the home team, combined with that fresh £20 million attacking injection and Wrexham's jet lag, I just expect Middlesbrough to have a bit too much firepower. I'm calling a 2-1 thriller in favor of Middlesbrough.
If you want to tune in and see if that prediction actually holds up, here is how you can watch. You can catch the action live tonight at 8 p.m. British Summer Time. Over in the UK, it's broadcasting on ITV1 and Sky Sports, and you can stream it on ITVX and the STV player. Watching from the US, you'll find the whole thing on Paramount+. And hey, for those who love the classic radio experience, you can catch the broadcast on BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Radio Tees, or BBC Radio Wales.
I'll leave you with this one final thought. The psychological momentum you get from an opening day Carabao Cup win is absolutely huge. It sets the tone for a grueling 9-month championship campaign. Will Middlesbrough's multi-million-pound gamble pay off immediately, or is Wrexham going to push past the fatigue to snatch a dramatic victory and finally banish the ghosts of last May? Who is going to draw first blood? You'll just have to tune in tonight to find out. Thanks for joining this explainer, and we will see you next time.